Hello, this is Erin with the Joy in Pens and Paper. So I am going to do a review of the pen and ink combinations that I used this month, and I will show some writing samples as I go through. So you may be seeing me pull in some other notebooks. I apologize for any chaos that might feel like, but I just want to show you what it looks like. So the first pen that I'm going to do is the Pelikan M400, and this is the white tortoiseshell. I don't know why, but I cannot spell the word tortoiseshell, so I never write it because I'm always afraid I'm going to spell it wrong, and I would not be okay with that feeling. This is inked up with a sample sent by a subscriber. It's Birmingham Pen Company Sandstone. The first section of pens here, these are all samples, and these bottom three are bottles because these are three that I've been having inked up every month, and I wanted to really focus on samples for this month. So again, Sandstone was sent to me by a subscriber. I have really loved this ink, and I actually went to the Birmingham Pen Company website. They currently, this ink is sold out, and I don't know if they intend to restock it. For the subscriber that sent this to me, if you know whether this is discontinued or not, can you leave that in the comment and let me know? But this ink has some really nice shading to it. It is a gorgeous ink, absolutely gorgeous. So if this is sold out on Birmingham Pen Company, then I do want to look at getting an ink that is this color because I really like it. But what I'm finding is every ink that I put into this pen, I am in love with. So I have to be careful because otherwise I will buy all the inks. So for this pen, because it has a little bit of ink left in it, I do have some that are empty. The flow is a 10 and the enjoyment is a 10. If I keep up this scoring system, I would predict that I will be putting that for every ink. Love this pen so much. The next pen is the Narwhal Nautilus in Grand Rhapsody. This is one of my new pens to my collection. This was purchased on Easter Day. It is absolutely beautiful. So it has this kind of terracotta color here, which is what I wanted to pull out with the Robert Oster Australis Oak, and I really, really enjoyed writing with this month. I have, here's a page with a writing sample. Again, it has some nice shading. I really like the nib on this pen. I also similarly enjoy it on the Narwhal and Galen Leather Co. collaboration demonstrator pen that I have. It's just really nice to write with. I don't know necessarily how to describe it, but it puts down a good amount of ink, which allows the ink to really show off itself and its properties. So I'm really enjoying that. So for this one, now I am going to give it an 8 for flow. There are times, as much as I'm saying that I really enjoy this nib, there are times where initially it has a little bit of a hard start, or the flow can be a little variable, not enough that I'm super bothered by it, but enough that I just want to make sure that I am accurate in my representation. And because of that, I'm also going to give it a 9 as opposed to a 10. But to be clear, I love this pen. Love it. All right, so my next pen, and this one is completely used up. It needs to be cleaned out, so I will be doing that today. One thing, and I don't know if other people, but there's a lot of ink that got stuck in there, and I just feel like that's really wasteful. So, but yeah. So this is a Sailor 1911, and it is inked up with Organic Studio Blue Merle. I really like this blue. This was a really nice color to write with. So I have it on this page right here. This actually ran out right up here at the top, and so I pulled out my Pilot Firmo and finished up with that. But it's a really nice dark blue, the 1911, and this is in a medium fine. It's a really fine line. So this would be a definite pen to take into the workplace. The price point is maybe $25, $35-ish. But this would be something that I would definitely carry with me every day and have a blue or black ink in it. But it was very nice. The ink capacity was a little small, but for flow, let's see if I can get anything out of this. Yeah, that is dried up. So we're going to use my Pilot Firmo. So the flow is a 10, and the enjoyment, I'm going to say an 8. I really like it, but it's not giving me that really special feeling that I get from my Pelikan or Narwhal, Novelar, whatever you want to call it. I call it Narwhal. I apologize. All right, so the next one is my Laban. So this one is finicky with ink. It absolutely is. But what I do love about it is teaching me what is a dry ink and what is a wet ink, because I don't know that I really appreciated that before getting this pen. So the Ferris wheel press Central Park Greens, what's really fascinating is when you look at it here, it's light, but it is saturated. And then when you get into actually writing with it for kind of a long writing session, like I do in my journaling, it is much lighter and less saturated, which is just really fascinating. It starts out pretty saturated and then it gets thinner. It's the only way that I can describe it, I guess. But I love my handwriting with this pen. I love how the nib writes. I did notice when it got to about half full, when the cartridge converter got to about half full or half empty, however you want to look at it. The fact that I said half full, I'm an optimist, yay me. That's where it did get a little bit tricky with the writing, and so I just twisted up the cartridge converter, and it got better, and was able to write well for the remainder of the fill. But that's just something that I'm attending to with this pen, is how it writes. So I think this is dried up, but just to confirm, I'm going to say the flow is, yep, this is dried up. So I'm going to add that to my pens to clean. All right, so this is going to get a 6 for flow, and it's going to get a 9 for enjoyment. Love that pen, and it's just so pretty. All right, so the next one is my Pilot Kakuna. I got it in this kind of tealy blue color because my son wanted a green fountain pen, so he has the same exact one. Nib and Flo, you had asked if my son uses fountain pens. This is one of the pens in his collection, and this is with a fine nib, and I inked it up with the remainder of my Robert Oster Rose Gold Antiqua. And you can see right here, it was getting a little clogged up with likely the shimmer. Throughout the month as I wrote with it, let me flip to a page right here. So it wrote well. There wasn't a whole lot of clogging. However, it wrote, I mean, this is one page and this is another. They're the same ink, but this is lighter than this. This is more of a kind of a, I don't know, brassy type of look. There is some shimmer that gets down on the page, but the majority of it is right here in the section and in the feed. So this is going to be a fun little cleaning project. There is a little bit of ink left in it, so I probably can do another day or two of journaling to finish this up. So we'll be doing that. But I think what I'm going to do is get another sample vial of this particular ink because I want to see this ink in a wetter nib as opposed to a fine, and it's a Japanese fine, so it's very fine. So yeah, the flow on this one, we're also going to give it an 8. And then the enjoyment, I'm going to say a 5. I didn't necessarily love this pen this month. So just being honest. And I don't know that I'll put a shimmer ink in that pen again. All right, the next one is my Pilot Decimo in Champagne with a fine nib, and this is an 18 karat gold fine nib, and it's inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Fyo Shogun. This is a very warm gray. It has a little bit of a purple undertone to it. Let me again get to a page with a writing sample. Here's my writing sample. So it's a really nice fine line. There is some shading in it. You can definitely see where I paused my writing and then picked up writing again, because when I pause, it comes out darker initially, and then it lightens up a little bit. Really gorgeous color gray. I don't know that I would buy a bottle of this just because I have a couple of other gray purples around the same color, like Robert Oster Polar Vortex, to name one. I have at least one other, if not 2 other. But what I do want to try, just because of my Laban is such a picky pen, is I might put this ink in the Laban and then put the Robert Oster Polar Vortex in Laban and see how those compare with each other, and that might push me to get a bottle. Who knows? We'll see. So for this one, the flow, it was a 10. The flow was perfect. I had no complaints with that. And the enjoyment was probably an 8. And I think the reason why is I think my nails are too long for the Decimo. It's a little bit more of a petite pen, and it's very lightweight. But I did find that I had a hard time getting the grip that I wanted. And that's a me issue. That's not a pen issue, but this is my enjoyment. But it's a wonderful pen. I really am happy that I have this in my collection. All right, now these next 3 should go relatively quickly. My Pilot Firmo with Birmingham Pen Company Burnt Walnut. Like I said, this one I have a bottle of, and I've had this one inked up with this ink since I got it a number of months ago. So this one, the flow, I'm going to give it a 9 because occasionally I've had a slightly hard start. And then enjoyment is going to be a 10. I love this pen. I love the way it is a little bit back heavy, which I've seen some reviews that some people don't like that. I actually do like that, and it has a little bit more girth or thickness here, so that makes it a little bit more enjoyable for me to write with as I have long nails, which I'm probably going to have long nails through August, because I'm getting my nails done with my friend who is getting married in August, and I'm her matron of honor. So probably through then I will have this pen inked up have my long nails. I probably will also have that pen inked up. All right. TWSBI Diamond 580 with an extra fine steel nib. This is inked up with Birmingham Pen Company, Pennsylvania Fieldstone. I feel like this is my signature ink, which is so surprising because it's not gray and it's pink, and I'm not necessarily a pink person, but love this ink. It's wonderful. The flow has been perfect. I've had a few days go by where I don't use it and I pick it up and it flows right away. TWSBI is really excellent with that. I've never had a flow issue with a TWSBI, even with a shimmer ink, but I don't think I've ever put a shimmer ink in this particular pen, so I don't want to falsely advertise that. I'm going to be really clear. And my enjoyment of this is also a 10. This just brings me so much joy. It is a beautiful pen. It's a beautiful ink. I love putting this ink down on paper and seeing some of the shading. It's just gorgeous. So that's a perfect one. Perfect 10. And then the last one, oh, had to search for it for a moment. Here it is my Caveco Student 1970s with a fine nib. And this is inked up with Diamine Storm, which is from the 2021 ink vent. And I've also had only this ink in this pen since I got it. Consistently, when I ink this up, the feed gets clogged with the shimmer and I have to do a little bit of flushing, and then it writes fine. And it only occasionally has a hard start because I don't really use this that often, just because it is kind of a stable one, but I'm hoping to be using it a bit more this summer, especially as we get closer to the wedding, because this is one of the wedding inks. And I like the grip section. I just started watching, or just finished watching, Jewish Matchmaking on Netflix, and the matchmaker has a pen, I think it's by iStudio or Xstudio or something like that, but it has this gold section, and I like it on this pen, and that's what caught my eye on her pen. I also think it's just kind of comical that it has such a tiny little nib. So for flow, we are going to give it a 6 just because of that initial is, even though I'm now learning to anticipate it, it's still annoying. If I'm just being honest, it's annoying. And after August, I will be trying different inks in this, and we'll be trying some non-shimmer inks, and I'm really intrigued to see how that goes. But my enjoyment is a 9. Once I figure all that out, I love this pen. I love this pen. I think it's a classy look. I got this for Christmas from my mom. Thank you, Mom. I really love this pen. So that is my review of my pen and ink combinations for this month. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to putting out more videos for you. And also I look forward to seeing other review videos, as well as my favorite is the first couple of days of the new month to see all of the currently inked videos. So anywho, starting to struggle with my words right now, so I need to take a break from talking. Have a lovely rest of your day, and thank you for stopping by. If you're not subscribed, please click on the button. I'd love to have you join in the future, and by subscribing, you will get alerted when I post new videos. All right, bye.